Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all well, and welcome back to my channel, Ian Robinson Reiki Zen. This channel, what do we talk about? We talk about all sorts. We talk about Reiki, we talk about meditation, we talk about hypnotherapy, EFT, we talk about healing and the healing journey and the spiritual awakening that takes us on a healing journey, and also what has taken me on the healing journey that I'm on through my spiritual awakening, through mental health and all of those things that affected me back in the early days. And so if that sounds something that's like it's going to resonate with you and you're going to get something from this channel, then do please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like before we get into today's video. But what is today's video? What we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about people that want to help to heal the world, heal humanity. They want to do something to help. They want to help other people. They want to help the awakening. They want to help to maybe raise the consciousness of people around them. And how do they begin? Where do we start? Where do we start with that? And I think to begin with, me personally on my journey, it was a lot of mystery. It was a lot of not knowing. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know I was going through a spiritual awakening. So if I look back at where I started from and what would I change, what would I do differently? And I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think I would do anything differently, because the journey is meant as it is meant to be for me. Back in the earlier days, there was a lot of ego that I was dealing with. There was a lot of separation of the ego and trying to understand myself, trying to understand my role of who I was in this physical life, and coming to an understanding and a balance within that and within myself. And to begin with, I worked a lot on myself. I did a lot of meditation. I did a lot of self-healing with Reiki. I did a lot with the work with crystals. I did a lot of where I listened to a lot of videos on YouTube, such as ASMR, sound bath videos, things like that, to help me meditate, to help me connect to myself, to quieten my mind, to provide stillness. And in turn, what that does, when you find that stillness and you start working on yourself, it fires the ego up a little bit more, and it makes things in the world around you create triggers, create reactions. And it's only through finding those reactions and working on yourself that you realize that they are creating triggers and they are creating something within you that you need to be aware of. And that sometimes is a hard pill to swallow. It really is. It's a hard pill to swallow, to say, well, it's me that needs to change something within my reality, within my world. It's me that needs to stop doing this, or that is creating a trigger in me. Why? Why is it doing that? Why is it bringing up so much emotion? Why is that person making me feel this way? Why do I not want to express myself fully and show my light of who I really am? You know, that confidence thing that we tend to lack quite a lot because we're doing something different. We're not following the constraints of the norm. We're on a totally different trajectory. We're on a different timeline to the rest of humanity. The rest of the world around you is operating on their own frequency, and everybody is on a different frequency. Everybody is on their own trajectory within their life. So I think, to begin with, for myself as well, was gaining that understanding that everybody is on their own individual journey, and my journey isn't going to be the same as your journey and everybody else's. However, there will be aspects of your life and your journey that will resonate with other people, and they can take information from it. So sharing your path, sharing your journey, sharing your darkness as well is a really, really powerful way to help humanity, because we need to discover the darkness to then heal the darkness. And we heal the darkness with the light that we have within us. If we have a lot of darkness and we have a lot of that stuff that is holding us down and stopping us, then we need to find our light. Once we find the light within, then we then discover the darkness. It's the light that creates and shows the darkness. It creates the shadows. So we all need light and dark. We all need that aspect of us within us. And initially, again, maybe in my early years, I thought we all had to just be love and light, and I did a video recently about that, about kind of toxic positivity and how, we can always be in that love and light stage, which is really, really lovely when it's there, but we also have to understand and be aware that we do have the aspect within us of the darkness, of the stuff we need to be aware of. We need to find it, we need to look at it, we need to heal it. If we don't heal it, we don't look at it, we're not aware of it, then we're just going to follow the same cycles, we're going to follow the same patterns, and we'll just remain. We will remain exactly where we are, nothing will change. And again, that is another hard pill to swallow. For me, when I was back in the drinking days, or when I was smoking a lot, and I used to use food quite a bit, to suppress things. So eating, food disorders, eating a lot, that was a lot that would cover things up for me. It would take my mind away from the distraction, away from the actual thing that I needed to focus on. So what is it that is distracting you, that is pulling you away from where you need to be, the things you need to focus on? That is a really, really, again, a really important part of the journey. But fundamentally, all this stuff that I'm talking about and I'm mentioning, it's all guiding us back to us. It's all guiding us back to ourselves. So when we start to do the healing internally within ourselves, yes, we can share the stories, yes, we can share the experiences, yes, we can share the darkness, we can share the light, but we always come back to ourselves. We always come back to that element of, after many years of work, the element of non-duality, of not being in this camp or that camp, but actually just being right slap bang in the middle. So we can either be in fight and flight or fear, or we can be in the opposite, which is being in harmony and being in love with ourselves, with life, with the universe. And finding that balance in between is having the aspect of, it's a hard one to put into terms, but it's not on that far end of just being constantly in love and on that high vibration, but it's also not being in the dimension of fear. It's being right slap bang in the middle of what we might call non-attachment and indifference. And this is where the path of awakening, the path of spirituality, tends to take us down. It's a bit like a snake, really. It takes us down the various pathways that we need to go down. And your journey is wherever you are, whatever you're doing, your journey that you're following, your path is absolutely beautiful. And it might not be where you think, well, I'm going through all this shit. It might not feel beautiful right now. But if we don't label it, if we don't attach to the negativity, and again, this is a really, really important part, but also a very difficult part of the journey, of the path, is non-attachment and non-labeling, not putting things into a box, not being in the duality, but being in non-duality of openness to whatever situation occurs. It is what it is, and it will pass. This too shall pass, as many people talk about. And that is difficult. So how do we get there? How do we get to that point where we can just be quite kind of blasé about, not blasé, but just have non-attachment and not fixate an emotion? And I'm not saying that we need to be emotionless. Of course we're going to have emotions. Of course we're going to feel things. We're not robots, we're not AI, we're not androids. We all have emotions. But are we aware of the emotions? Are we aware of the presence of the emotion and where the emotion is within the body? Are we sitting with the emotion and feeling the emotion? Why is the emotion arising? Is it from, so it might be from grief, from someone, maybe a breakup, or someone has passed over. So there may be grief within that, but we've got to go through the grief. We've got to balance the grief. So you've got to go through the grief, feel the grief, feel the depth of the grief. And the grief is basically, it's love. It's another part of the love paradigm. Because we only feel grief when we truly love someone, when we truly have that deep feeling of compassion and love for someone. So we've got to go through it, we've got to feel it, but then we've got to also alchemize that, because we can't always be stuck in the grief. We've got to alchemize the grief and move through that and remember the grief, but remember the positivity, remember the love, remember the good times, remember the happy times. And know that you are going to experience grief again at some point in your life, but you're not always going to be in grief. You will come back to that balance, that non-duality, that loving aspect of yourself. You will come back to that. Grief is a really it's a really difficult one to talk about for many people. Because a lot of people do get stuck in grief and don't know how to get past that. They don't know how, especially if sometimes grief can be connected to trauma as well. And it is an element of trauma that affects us on some level internally. And you can obviously go to therapy and counselling to discuss grief, to go through the process. You can have healing sessions to balance the grief. You can have hypnotherapy, you can have EFT, you can use havening, you can use NLP to look at the different aspects of yourself. You can use affirmations as well. You can use meditation to balance your energy. But fundamentally, at the very base of it, you've got to actually go through that process. You've got to go through the emotion. You've got to feel the emotion at its very depth. And that is the healing part of it, So maybe there's a point in life where you've hit a low and you've come to this grief state. You don't know how to get out of the grief, so you deal with the grief with addiction. So you might deal with the grief with food or smoking or drinking or recreational drugs or whatever, because you can't get out of that grief state. So you use something else to cover that up. And that's obviously not a healthy way of balancing that emotion. You've really got to get to the depths of understanding the emotion and feel the emotion in the body. So this is a practice you can use with any emotion that is a lower emotion, but also a higher emotion. When you feel that feeling of joy and love, when it permeates and you can feel the high vibration running through your whole body. You might even feel tinglings. You might feel just a heat flow through your body. You might just feel an openness in the heart when you connect on that love, joy level. But when you connect on something heavier, such as a grief or a fear or a worry, it tends to be much deeper. It's a denser energy that you feel within the body. So you sit with it. What am I feeling? Whereabouts is it in the body? Usually it'll be low down in your bowels, in your intestines, in your root and sacral area of your body. So then you can identify that. You can identify where it is in the body. You can speak to it and talk to it, because it creates almost like an entity form within you. So you speak to it, and through the years of practice and self-development and self-awareness and connecting to your subconscious and your higher self and your intuition, you start talking to it and it will talk back to you. Your body will respond and your body will talk back to you and give the information that you need to be able to get past that point, to get past that step, that block that may be creating that within your life. So, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but we always come back to ourselves. We always come back to us. So if you want to help humanity and you want to help the awakening, work on you, work on yourself, because then we have to come to the understanding and the knowing that we are all one and we're all intrinsically connected to each other. And science, physics, quantum physics, it explains this, from the very atoms that are surging through your body of the same of the universe. The universe is the same as you. You are the same as the universe. And there's a lot of books you can look at, which will explain this in more detail. You Are the Universe by Deepak Chopra is a really, really great book to look into, and he goes into the science of why you are the universe and why things work the way that they do, why synchronicities happen, why vibration is the very fabric of you and the universe, and the vibration that you're resonating at is what you attract, it's what you bring in. So if you're in that state of fight, flight, fear, worry, grief, remorse, all that lower energy, that's what you keep bringing in, that's what you keep attracting, because the universe recognizes that. You might want to call the universe God, you might want to call it spirit, you might want to call it the divine, but the universe recognizes that and responds with more of the same. So until you start doing the inner work and healing yourself, then you're going to keep getting that. Once you start doing the inner work and working on yourself, then your vibration shifts. You start going up the frequency. If you look at the frequency field of where humanity is, or where your healing journey will be, and it's very much like the chakra system. I can't remember the name of it, but it goes from the lower down, the fear, the worry, and it starts going up in frequencies. So it goes more into then the solar plexus, the confidence, all that sort of stuff. It goes into the heart, more love, more acceptance, more openness. Goes into the lighter colors, the throat. So the further you go into this field of consciousness, and the higher you go up in your frequency, the more then you start to resonate on a higher frequency, the more then the universe responds in that higher frequency. The more you get, the next person gets, and the people get that you get around you. And that's why usually during a spiritual awakening, as you're starting to work on yourself and heal, you're raising your vibration, and the people that are around you that are in a denser, lower vibration of fear, worry, addiction, remorse, all that sort of stuff, they move away. Because you don't resonate anymore. So the universe takes them away. It may be jobs, relationships, life patterns, situations, and you have an energetic detox. It shifts all that stuff away, because then you can bring in what you need to bring in for you, for the vibration that you're at, the frequency that you're at. And that's how you help humanity. That's how you help the earth. It may look as though, when we look at the world around us, if you pay attention to the media, it may look as though it's not working. It may look as though the system is collapsing and everything's going wrong around us. But this, again, in turn, is teaching us to deepen our practice, to go deeper within the self, keep focusing on that vibration, keep focusing on that inner stillness, that awareness. The more you focus on that, the higher your vibration you resonate at, the more light you bring into your life. And that, again, still in turn helps everything around us. And the reason why you see so much more of everything collapsing around us is because the frequency of the earth is changing that much that the denser realities of the three-dimensional reality that is around us, the matrix, that is why it's starting to subside, and that's why it's starting to collapse. And it's working so hard to try and keep us all in that structure, the structure that is collapsing. And then when we go back to our practice and we learn to let go, we learn non-attachment, we let go of the system that's kept us bound and tied for so long, kept us in this system of control, of brainwashing, of manipulation, because now you become more free. Your energy is freer. You're starting to flow more freely. You're expressing yourself more clearly. You're coming from the heart. You're opening yourself up to love, and you're actually sending love out into the world. And if we look at the name of the planet Earth, it's an anagram for heart. So it's all about love. And everybody in history that's spoken about love, that's spoken about peace, coming from the heart, coming from this center within, they've all been silenced, they've all been got rid of, because that is the truth. The truth is always love. The truth always comes back to love. If we look at the symbolism of Jesus Christ on the cross from the crucifixion, the cross is at the heart. So that the very symbolism itself of being out and open, this cross, it comes right back to our center. It's showing us in the symbolism that is where we need to be. We need to be in the heart. We need to be in the love frequency. If we look at things like, I just got shown something there and it's just gone out my mind, but that symbolism of the cross itself is so powerful and it's so strong, and everybody knows it, everybody sees it. As soon as you mention something about Jesus or the cross, people then start talking, oh well, he's one of those, he's religious. I'm not religious. I don't follow a religion. I follow my intuition and my mixture of beliefs that are, they range, but the more I follow my journey, the more it actually points to the truth within the texts of the Bible, not the mumbo jumbo that is sort of put out there to control and dumb down and blinker people with the fear, because again, that's kind of like what it is. It's a fear factory, but it actually points to the light. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The dimension of heaven is within you. What does that mean? It's already there. The Buddha talks about that. That the light is already there. We're looking for that light. We're looking for that stillness and that presence within. In Reiki, we talk about that. We talk about finding that great bright light, that spirit, that very essence within. That comes from Buddhist teachings, which also dates back to ancient China before that. So all of these ancient philosophies, ancient practices, and alternative practices that they get deemed, that are coming back into the mainstream, coming to become more popular, more fashionable. People are becoming more aware of it, because it's actually tapping them into their consciousness. It's tapping them into their light. It's tapping them into their divine essence and their strength and their power and their sovereignty. Once you start to get that and you tap into that, hey, the world doesn't want that, the matrix doesn't want that, the system doesn't want that, because then you become so powerful. You're on a different vibration. They don't want you out of that vibration. So the more you focus on you, the more you focus on yourself, that is how you help humanity awaken. I hope this message helps, and I hope this video helps. If this resonated on some level, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy my content, please do subscribe to the channel. Again, help this channel's vibration, help me get seen, because we're all here on a journey. We're all here to try and help each other. And if this video helps and resonates with one person, and they find meaning from it and they find power from it, and it makes them just think a little bit more about where they are, who they are, and how they're going to heal themselves on some level, then welcome to the channel, and please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, do take care. Much love, blessings to all, and bye for now. Namaste.